There we go. I think I got it all worked out now. Let's see, is it working? Make sure it's working first. Yeah, it's working. Great. Anyhow, welcome everybody to the channel. And start the night off by saying hello. Hope everybody's been doing good. Everybody's been able to ride. Hopefully they ain't melting. So it has been a bit on a hot, humid day. Road 300 something. No, hang on a minute. Let me look. I'll tell you exactly how many miles. Is it raining up there now, Tweedle? Yeah, I seen the thunderstorms coming when I was in Cleveland earlier. I was like eating dinner and I looked and I was going to try to take a long way back to the house, and I looked up and seen clouds rolling in, and I'm like, ooh, this don't look too good. Looked at the map, read our map, and I was like, yeah, better go ahead and hop on the interstate, get my butt to the house. Yeah, today was 309 miles. I went all the way down to Cartersville, Georgia, and turn around and come back. So only needed 1,300 miles to be at 50K. But glad to see that you're on. Thank you for coming and stopping by. Hang on a minute. Let me see if I can give you the link if you want to hop onto it. Granted, I haven't really done this before, so not exactly sure how this goes. Because I don't really use StreamYard a whole lot. Usually I'm streaming from the phone, so we'll try to get you on if you want to come on. If not, that's fine too. Don't make a difference. I'm just kind of sort of diddle-daddling around. I know I am definitely going next Monday to get the bike 50K done, as well as get the throttle body, the plastic throttle body replaced. Actually get a metal one put on, and hopefully that'll work out pretty good. And then work Tuesday, Wednesday, on Thursday, which Thursday I'll go live next week as I'm packing up the bike. Let y'all see the monstrosity of how my bike looks when I'm going down, when I'm actually riding Sturgis, because it is kind of funny. Because okay, it's like you guys may also want to share. Okay, but yeah, I actually talked to the service manager today when I was down there at the shop, because I got to thinking, I was like, do I want to keep the air intake the same, or do I want to try to get a opened up one that's still the little oval shaped square, because I already got a K&N filter, so figured that should be good enough. But just to make sure, I went ahead and swung by while I was down in Chattanooga for my VA appointment today, and went down to Dalton real quick, talked to them, and they're like, yeah, your parts come in, so the dealership's got the parts. That's a good thing. So next Monday, that's getting done, as well as the 50K work done. And then I work Tuesday, Wednesday, as I said. Thursday night's going to be packing up, gathering up stuff for the trip to Sturgis. And then Friday morning, I'm going to say between 4:30 and 5:30ish. I'll be live streaming as soon as I get on the bike and heading to South Dakota in the morning. So as long as it's not raining, I'll have the microphone running. But if it starts raining, I'll take the microphone, little box thing, which is right here. Oof, fuzzy. There we go. But this right here is what I use for the microphones while I'm live streaming. So, yes, unfortunately, I tried my darndest today to fail medical, and it did not work. I actually drank an energy drink right before I get my blood pressure done, and it was still it was still low. I was like, dang it. And then the doctor asked me, they go, what was you trying to do? And they go, what's that about? I go, I was hoping to fail. She's like, well, you could have drunk an energy drink. And I was like, well, I done drunk one. She's like, and your blood pressure's still this low? I was like, yeah, I guess. So, yeah, I tried. But yes, I will end up having to miss the group ride on Saturday. Sorry. Kind of depressing in a way. But hopefully maybe we can all meet up maybe Sunday. I know the Thumpers told me to reach out to them when I got up Sunday afternoon from taking a nap because I worked Saturday night. So may try to do that. Hopefully try to do something short at least. Or worst case scenario, go up and meet up for a little short ride to one of the falls or something. Do a little circle or something. Depending on what they're in the mood for, and if anybody else comes along, great. We may try to holler at a few people. I don't know if anybody's going to really be wanting to do much on Sunday after y'all riding down on Fall Creek Falls on Saturday. But I can't wait to see the videos, though, of y'all's ride. But I do know that y'all will have a blast, I do believe. And hopefully it won't be raining too much, if at all. So I think they updated it earlier today that this area, which is basically due east of Fall Creek Falls, I believe, yeah, it's down to 20% now instead of 40 like yesterday. So the rain chances on the lower part of the state seem to be dropping, which is a good thing. But you guys might still run into it when you guys come back up north. Ah, okay. Just pretty much. Oh, okay. That explains why I don't see much of your videos as far as you actually riding a whole lot. But oh yeah. I mean, with the temperatures, the way how hot it's going to be, that rain's going to actually feel good, I believe. To me, actually, it would feel real good. And add a little AC to the ride. Because it was miserable today. Got down to Cartersville, and when I got back up on the interstate, looked at the bike, and the bike was telling me it was 101. It was like 101 point something. And I was just like, good Lord. It's like, this is just insane. Because it was hot down there. Bad. Even doing 80 wasn't getting any cooler. It was a nice hot ride, steamy ride today. But as far as Sturgis is concerned, I know I'm going to be riding Iron Mountain Road, Needles, to Mount Rushmore, do the loop through Lead into Deadwood, and then up to 90 from Deadwood, and then come back around toward the state line. I'm actually also considering taking a day, maybe two, of actually riding out to Yellowstone, or at least going back out to Bighorn, because I do like that area. That is one fun ride. I mean, it's a twisty in a cave in a cavern, or down in a not so much. Well, I guess it's a little bit of a cavern. You're a canyon, I should say. It starts you off. You come out the bottom, and you come out of Sheridan. Start going up. It's a mountain. It's a twisty mountain. You can go all the way up. And there's a couple little stops that have some real nice overlook. Yeah, it would be nice to watch you ride a little bit. That's for sure, Tweedle. Especially with some of the updates and stuff that you have on the bike, just to showcase the bike a little bit and the riding around. That's for sure. I mean, we are fortunate enough to have some real good riding areas. I mean, everybody knows the tail. A few people know about the Devil's Triangle. But you got 70 between Rockwood and Crosville. That's real nice, real fun. You got the road that's up past Wartburg that goes into Crossville. That's pretty decent. It's been a while since I've been across it, though. Not gonna lie. But 30's nice. Fall Creek Falls is nice. Treehop Skyway's nice. Village Parkway's great. Except for on the weekends when we got all the people on mountain bikes and stuff going up and down. But I do plan on live streaming the main strip while I'm there at Sturgis a little bit here and there. And also try to get some events, because I know Mr. Monkey, said that he's going to be at a couple of the bike shows at the Iron Horse. So I'm definitely going to try to swing by and catch that while I'm there. I've got the one sound competition at the Beaver Bar. I'm going to try to do a live stream there while competing at the same time. Then you got Highway Vixen's meet and greet that's going to be at the Beaver Bar. I'll be at that. The Chip's holding some sort of thing for YouTubers and stuff that I may or may not go to it. I don't know yet. Still debating on that one, depending on who may or may not be there for the content creator thing. Because, yeah, my doctor's, the psych today sat there and told me, you're doing slightly better, but still, he's like, still a little, needs some work. Okay. So that's part of the thing with the videos and me live streaming. And it's just one of those things that I fight with myself to get them done. Even getting out riding sometimes, it's fun. My daughter actually, the bike, she wanted to go out on a ride. So she kind of sort of forced me to get out last week when I didn't really want to. But if you want to come on, Tweedle, you're more than welcome to. Instead of typing, it's just up to you. I just know this thing's right. Let's try that. I think it's messing up the focus on the thing because it's reflecting the light off my glasses pretty bad. Just now noticed that. But Iron Mountain Road, for those that don't know, those that are going out to Sturgis for the first time, is quite a fun road. Okay, cool. Turn that back on because it's a bit dark. And editing, laptop editing. Oof. Okay, no problem. But back to Highway Mountain Road, 16A. Depending on which way you enter it, will depend on whether you start off from the twisty side of it or the semi-twisty side of it. Because if you start off in Custer State Park side of it, which is down below Needles, actually on the other end of the park. The first half mile, maybe mile, I would say, is decently twisty. It's not real bad, and then it starts getting into gradual hills, sweeping curves and stuff, and then you'll hit an occasional 25, I think, mile-an-hour curves here and there. So it gets a little technical, but it's not too bad at first. And then you'll go along. There's a store about 5-10 miles down, I think. There's one on the right. You go past it, and you got the main Iron Mountain Highway store that's got all the goodies and stuff for the highway. It's off on the left. It's got a decent sized parking lot. And then you'll go up the road a little bit further, and then you'll start getting into the one-way tunnels, rock tunnels, which if you come in from the south gate, I believe it is, of Custer State Park, as you're riding down, heading back to Keystone, which is where it dumps out at, is almost right on the outskirts of Keystone, between it and Mount Rushmore, coming in from the south entrance of the state park. You'll actually be able to see Mount Rushmore through the rock tunnels as you're riding. So if you're wanting to look at Mount Rushmore while you're riding, like video footage, pictures, cell phone pictures or whatever, if somebody's riding with you, you want to come in from the south side. So that way you're actually facing Mount Rushmore as you're riding. Now, if you don't care to and you're wanting to hop off the bike, stop it, because there's little tiny pull-offs on each side of the one-way tunnels, or the one-lane tunnels, I should say. It's not so much one way, but one lane. You can take pictures and stuff. So it's just whatever your preferences are. I know some people want to get the video footage of them rolling up and seeing Mount Rushmore as they're running through the tunnels and stuff. So coming from the south side, going in, is not the way to do it. But as you start to get to the one-lane tunnels, rock tunnels, is when you'll start getting into the twisties. And the twisties up through there are actually 10-mile-an-hour curves while actually still going up a hill at the same time. So they're not flat by any means. They're actually curved going up a hill, or if you're coming from Keystone, it's actually 15-mile-an-hour curve while going downhill. And the grade's pretty steep. So those kind of wondering what the road's somewhat like, I do have videos of it on the channel. And as well as I do Needles as well, I do believe. I'll have to double check and make sure. But there's a little parking area and stuff at the very top of the mountain that looks over to Mount Rushmore, as well as looking back over the state park as well. So there's that. That ride's going to be done. And then once you get past the top of the mountain, you start going back down. And as you go down the mountain, you're still going down the twisties and stuff, going downhill. And then you get the two swirly cues down towards the end that are on the Keystone side of Iron Mountain Highway or Road 16A. And those actually go down or up depending on which way you go. So that's Iron Mountain Highway in a nutshell. It's fun. I love it. It's got great scenery. I actually like it way better than the Dragon. A lot of people are like, "Oh, Iron Mountain Tail's almost as good as is better than Iron Mountain." I'm like, no. No. Tail has a bunch of curves and stuff, but it's mostly flat. And there's no scenery. You don't really have time to look at the scenery when there is no trees in the wintertime. So, that's one thing that the Tail definitely does not, I don't like about the Tail, besides that jobs that like to think it's a racetrack. Which is why if I go over there, usually it's sometime after 4 o'clock in the afternoon, or it's before 10 o'clock in the morning. That way I know it's less likely to be crowded. But needles, you have to pay. Last year I think it was $20 cash to get into the state park, which covers the entire week. Because they'll put a little band, and I think mine from last year's still on the bike. I do believe it's still on there. I may have finally took it off, but they'll put a little band around your mirror so that way they can see it. Leave the band on while you're at the rally. Because if you take the band off, it's another $20 to get back into the park. So one thing for those attending Sturgis this year that's never been is if you want to do needles, you don't necessarily have to go into the state park to get the Iron Mountain Highway, but you do need to ride needles. So if you're wanting to ride needles, make sure you got a $20 bill on you, unless they go up this year, which they should, because the last 3 years it's been $20. So, but pay the $20, let them put the little band around your mirror, leave the band on the bike until you get back to the house at that point. Therefore, you don't have to worry about paying $20 every time you come up there. Unless they do something different this year, which I doubt that they do, because the last 3 years, that's all I've done is paid the first time I've ran through there. Sadly, not during the rally. The state parks don't. Custer State Park doesn't allow you for free. I do believe, though, if I'm not mistaken, because I remember the one time that I actually went to Crazy Horse. When me and my cousin stopped, when we went up there to that, we asked the guy if there's any discounts for veterans, and they actually gave us a discount during the rally at Crazy Horse. I think it was like $5 off the ticket or whatever. So instead of paying, I think 15 or $20, it was like either 10 or 15. So some areas, some spots do still give you military discounts. One thing that I will say, let me grab it real quick. Get this right here. This right here will definitely, for surely, see here, make six, see if it's focus up. If still blinded. These cards right here, or if you've got your VA ID card with you, show it when you get to like the Badlands, Devil's Tower, any of the national parks. And when you do, you get in for free. Hey, DDK, how's it going? Because veterans, they actually signed the bill to where now we get a lifetime free pass at all the national parks. I'm not sure if I've actually got the card yet. I believe I do. Show you what the card looks like if I've got it in my wallet still. Oh, there it is. you'll actually get this right here. Tweedle. Let's see. Let's see if it'll actually show it. Nope, it's blocking. It's too glossy. And you'll get a plastic card that states military pass for National Park Service, and you can actually get into all the national parks for free once you get that card. Instead of paying the $35, it's free for you and whoever happens to be in a car. If you're in a car, truck, if you're in a truck, or on the bike, you and the person that's with you, right? That's riding with you. So if there's a second person riding with you, they even get in for free, or supposed to be able to. Because I know me and my cousin, he got his card first. I didn't need to get one because the woman's like, "Oh, he's the veteran. You're still trying to dig your stuff out." She goes, "Hey, just don't worry about it. We can get your card next time." So me and him both went in for free because I was riding with him. So that's cool. I will be visiting Devil's Tower. That's going to be one area that I go when I go out to Sturgis as well. I am actually going to try this year, if I can remember, go to Topless Tuesday as well. Granted, disappointing, I know, but won't be able to live stream from there for obvious reasons. But yeah, you probably do if you've gone to any of the state park or any of the National Park Service parks. Oof, allergies. The smoke's been killing me. Yeah, it's still smoky today. It actually cleared up. You can actually tell the difference when I went to Cartersville and came back. Started heading up. I could see where the smoke had disappeared versus where it was at today. But yeah, if you've been to a national park where you have to pay last year, you probably already have the card for a lifetime. So just keep it on you when you show up to any of the other parks, especially anybody that's watching that's going to Sturgis for the first time that is a veteran. Make sure you have some sort of proof showing that you are a veteran. And they will gladly give you a card that'll allow you to get into this federal park for free, like Badlands and all that. And I will ride Badlands. And for those wondering about Badlands from Sturgis, if you're staying in Sturgis proper, or the Chip even, which is where I'm going to be staying at, from the Chip, it takes about an hour and 5 minutes roughly to get from the Chip to the Badlands. And you can actually make an all-day loop ride out of going to the Badlands, because you can actually go into the park there at Wall, go all the way around follow the main hard road all the way around, come out the south end of the park, which is in part of the reservation there, and you can actually take that road. Let me see what the actual name of that road is. You would think by now, being out there 3 times, I would actually have these roads memorized by now, being that I know where they're at and where they go. I just forget the names of them or the numbers. Let's see. I just went too far. Oh, there it is. It is Highway 44. Yeah, if you come in Badlands off of 240, take 240 all the way to 377. And you hang right on 377, you'll hit Interior, which there is a gas station there at that intersection for it and 44. And what you'll do is hang right on the split to 44, and 44 will take you all the way back into Rapid City. That is a nice loop. 44 takes you on the back side of the Badlands Park, and it's nice. It's gorgeous, and you can actually see the hills and stuff from the distance. So it's quite fun. Yeah, I heard it starting to rain earlier here myself, so. But yeah, it's done already here. Not sure about up that way, up where you guys are at. I know down here it's not raining anymore. Not yet, anyways. Looks like we got another round coming in, though. And looks like it might actually go south of us, or south of me, anyways, from what it's showing. But Badlands, if you haven't been and you're going to Sturgis, it is definitely worth taking the day to go out there and ride it. See it. It's magnificent. It's also kind of freaky in a way to think, it's one of them weird things. Because you actually start off on a plateau, and you look over and you can see the mountains, and you start going down, and the next thing you know, you're down in the valley, and you're looking at nothing but mountains, and it's like, okay, how did these get carved? But there's that, and then riding out to Devil's Tower from the Chip or Sturgis. You can take a couple different ways to get there, but I do believe it's about an hour and a half ride just to get out to Devil's Tower from Sturgis, which that is another must see if you haven't been. It's quite fun. Now, the other thing that I mentioned about going to Bighorn and possibly Yellowstone while I'm out there this year, both of those is a day ride from Sturgis. It takes about 8 hours roughly to get to Yellowstone from Sturgis. And that's traveling across 90 and getting off, where's that? Sheridan, I do believe is where I got off last time. Yeah, when me and my cousin went out there, we got off of 90 at, looking for familiar names because I still don't remember where we got off at. Just wanted to make sure I got the right towns. Because the way we went in was actually the long way in. We didn't know it, but it was definitely a long way from what we were told. Yeah, we actually took 90, got off at Grantchester, and took 14 crossing to Dayton, Wyoming, and then went up and over 14 into Bighorn National Forest. The thing is instead of staying on or going straight on the alternate 14, we actually turned and went and stayed on proper 14 into Shell, Gray Bull, and into Cody, One thing that I will say, especially if you're somebody that's not been through that area and you're actually riding a trike or a Sportster, so I think Sportsters get about the same mileage as a trike does, per se. Um, you definitely want to top off in Dayton because your next refueling point isn't until you get into Grable. And I was getting a little nervous, to say the least, about actually making it on that trip because it was a good distance ride, and I didn't think about topping off. I still had 3/4 of a tank when I went through Dayton. So I figured, okay, I got plenty. It should be fine. Yeah. uh, gas out west, I think the highest octane is 91. There's very few stations that have 93 out west, especially once you get to South Dakota, Kansas City, Iowa, and all them. About the highest I remember seeing is 91. So, for those that have to run 93, get you some octane boost. You'll probably want it. So, if anybody's looking at doing Yellowstone or Bighorn or anything that direction from Sturgis, you'll be on. It'll take you about 7 hours, 8 hours to get from Yellowstone to Sturgis. And that is the East Gate, which is closest to Cody. From what I remember, it took us about 7.5, almost 8 hours that day. We rode back to Sturgis from Yellowstone. But I know there's plenty of other things. There's a steam train that's out there. I'm going to try to do this year that I haven't been able to do yet. I'll probably test ride another Sportster S while I'm out there. Maybe a Road King if they actually have one. I've been wanting to test ride one, but Smoky Mountain Harley Davidson didn't really have one. Just had one put in, but it was already sold. White Lightning and Mountain Creek, neither one of them even had a Road King in. Last few times I've been down trying to look at one to try to ride, see what they feel like. So if they've got a Road King to test ride at Sturgis this year, I'll probably try to get on one and see how it feels with my knees. But so far, the Sportster S is about the lightest option so far that I've seen, been able to get a hold of. So, or at least that's brand new. Now there is I think it's a 2020. What the heck do they call that? There is a sports. It's not a Sportster, but it's not exactly a Road Glide or a Road King. It's kind of a sport bike. Let me type it, if I can see if they still got it. White Lightning Harley Davidson actually is where I actually sat on the bike, and I actually liked the way I felt. See if they still got it. Show them anyways. The Sports Glide. That's what it is. 2020 Sport Glide I actually liked that they had in. And that's another good contender that I see that. Yeah. I actually sat on one at White Lightning and swayed it from side to side, testing the weight on my knee and my legs. And it feels about the same way as the new Sportster S does as far as weight. So I might seriously consider finding one if they don't have that one. When I get ready to go buy it, buy a bike and test ride it. So that might be an option besides a sports dress. I prefer something new, but same time, heck, I do kind of sort of want to have some sort of seat and a set of bags to be able to use for say. I do ride quite a bit, and I do like to make sure I have enough stuff with me, especially when I got to go to work. I have a backpack and a lunchbox I got to take with me. So if I decide I want to ride it, I want to be able to have room to put that stuff on the bike. But if there's anything in particular anybody can think of that they'd like to see while I'm at Sturgis, whether it be like something going on in Rapid City, Sturgis, the dealership at Black Hills Harley Davidson, because it's actually in Rapid City. I don't care to go down there. I'm going to be down there anyways. But I'm going to try to go live when I can because I'm actually going to be there a week early. So definitely going to try to do live streaming while I'm there. Try to show you what all it looks like, how big the crowds can get, especially during the weekend. That first Friday and Saturday, oh my gosh. It's murder. The main strip, Lazelle, the main strip gets crowded bad. So you can imagine last year, temperatures were anywhere from the 90s to 105, roughly, almost every day. Sitting on a bike and you're having to actually crawl through town. It sucked. Kind of glad I was actually on the track because I didn't have to worry about putting my feet down. I just had to keep putting them on the rear passenger pegs to get them away from the heat from the motor, keep from burning my leg when I was wearing my shorts. Because I was just riding around through town, so I didn't really worry about pants at that point. But South Dakota is a no helmet law state. You don't have to wear a helmet in the state of South Dakota. I think Wyoming is no helmet as well, I do believe. Don't hold me to it. Don't know for sure. Double check. But from what I remember, Wyoming's also a no helmet law state. Don't have to have one. Granted, interstates, if I'm going to be riding decently, I always have mine on, even if it's a no helmet area. But if I'm riding around through town, and I know I'm not going to be doing no more faster than what I've done on a mountain bike, I'm not going to worry about putting a helmet on. That's about the only time you'll catch me with that one on. Because heck, I've wiped out as a kid without a helmet. I'm perfectly fine still. So, may try to hop on other streams and stuff when I can, if people would like, or I can start trying to do this as well. Roads for me traveling. My route from where I'm at the house is going to be interstate, and it's going to take 18 hours, basically, to get from my house to Sioux Falls, which is where my dad's at, which is where I'm going to be at for the first weekend. Spending the weekend with my dad is I will leave here, head up 68, catch 40 in Crossville, and then I'll take 40 into 155, which is Opry Mills, the Opry Mills Highway, to bypass downtown Nashville because 40 and 65 and 24 in Nashville sucks for motorcycles. The craters and stuff they've got in the roads, they just suck. So I'll take 155 and head over to 24. And take 24, head all the 24 west, and go all the way until it dead ends into 57 in southern Illinois, and take 57 all the way up to 70. I believe it's 70. No, it's 57 into 64. And then 64, I'll eventually merge into 70 in St. Louis. Don't look right. Yeah, that is. Yeah, 64 into 70, and then 70 all the way across Missouri, I should say, to 435. Take 435 north, 29. Hit Platte City, St. Joseph's, which those riding along 29, especially on a track, make sure you top off at St. Joseph's, because I was running into issues the last couple of years with gas stations closing down or not being open. And it's in between St. Joseph's and Omaha. Well, Council Bluffs. Or Omaha, actually. Yeah. Council Bluffs is north of there. So between St. Joseph and Omaha, I think there might be one or two gas stations that may or may not be open. So just keep that in mind, because you definitely do not want to get stuck. Omaha, they were still working on the 29 bypass. Doing something on 29 in Omaha. And last year ended up having to take 80 or 880 to hop into 80 to bypass it and then hop back on the 29. Sucked. Added more time. And you go to Sioux Falls. Take 29 into Sioux Falls. And then once you're in Sioux Falls, you hop on 90 and head due west. And it'll take you all the way into Sturgis. I've had a couple people ask me about Dignity, the statue that is in. Okay, we'll see you, Toledo. Sorry, I was looking at a map, didn't see the comment. Thanks for stopping by. Dignity is the Indian statue that they have in South Dakota that's along I-90. It is actually on top of a hill, and just as you get to Chamberlain, there's a rest area right before you go down the hill to cross over the lake. You can't miss it. It's huge. You'll see it on the left-hand side of the road if you're coming from the east side of the state, traveling west on 90. It'll be on the left. And pretty cool statue. I'll probably stop again this year and try to do another drone video of it, because I do actually like it. It's pretty gratifying seeing it. It's amazing that the little blue things on it actually move with the wind. But as far as what to prepare for when it comes to Sturgis, prepare for anything and everything. That is actually no joke. I mean, people think that when people make that comment, they're actually just joking. I can honestly say it's not a joke. first year we was out there, me and my cousin. First time I went out there, me and my cousin went together. Uh, we were actually out riding. We seen the storm. We actually got rained on. The temperature dropped drastically. We were actually both stopping to put jackets on when that storm cell actually came system came through. The temperature was 90 degrees out before it came through. As it came through, it dropped all the way down to 60 degrees. And we rode into Rapid City and stuff. We went around Rapid City, drove up, sat at the dealership. Black Hills already days for a little bit. We seen the storm clouds. We didn't think nothing about it. And we rode back into Sturgis and seen some of this hail left over on the ground. And we sat there talking to a couple of people, and a couple of people were like, yeah, you all missed it. You almost rode all the way around it. The storm dumped like a half inch of hail in town. And just after that, it was done. So, and then I think it was last year, I believe. I remember somebody was saying, I think somebody was saying something that it was flurrying out there somewhere in the mountains one day in the evening, and I was like, oof. Because there was one day we were there. It was cold in the morning. I was like, dang, like, what happened? Why did it get so cold? Because it was hot. As far as what to bring your clothes, your underwear, deodorant, socks, whatnot. Shirts. I myself typically usually bring 3 because don't want to overpack, but at the same time, I also know I'm going to be buying shirts while I'm out there. So I'll start off with 3 clean ones, and I'll make sure I buy a couple of cheap shirts almost the first couple of days, and I got shirts going, no problem at that point. And I actually get those little washing packets because the chip does have washer and dryers like a laundromat does. So all I'll do is once I get it there for a few days, I'll go up to the laundromat, spend a couple hours sitting there, relaxing, and just wash all my clothes real quick. There ain't no sense in carrying 2 weeks worth of clothes with you, especially if you can just go to the laundromat. If you're worried about buying too many things, or you get something and you're like, how am I going to get this to the house? One thing you can do is don't think the Sturgis post office sends out boxes, or they're extremely expensive during the rally, I do believe, what I remember. But I do know you can go down to Rapid City, and they usually have boxes and everything else that you need. And you can actually just take your stuff that you bought that you don't want to have back on your bike, put it in a box, send it back to your house. I mean, like signs, windshields, parts. It was funny. My cousin had just bought his road glide or a street glide. Yeah, it was a road glide, and he had a factory windshield. While we were out there at their rally, he ran across Clockworks vendors and got a sweet deal on the windshield. So he replaced the windshield, and he didn't even think about it. And we got back to the campsite, to Chip, he looked and goes, how am I going to get this to the house? It's like, we'll figure it out somehow. So I ended up having his windshield on the back seat of my truck all the way back because he couldn't put it on his bike. He had too much stuff. But yes, there are ways to be able to send stuff back to the house from Sturgis. And so those that are riding, you can actually still have fun, still buy stuff. And if you're worried about something breaking or worried about how you're going to get it back to the house, you can always stop by UPS, FedEx, post office there in Rapid City and just ship it back to your house. I've done that, did that the second year, actually. Ended up with too many coffee cups, I believe is what it was, and I put them in a box with a couple T-shirts and sent them back here. And I actually beat them back here. No, they actually beat me back to the house. My daughter asked, because my daughter was like, "Why did you send yourself a package?" I told her, she goes, "Oh, tire kits, plug kits. I would highly recommend. Some tools are a must. They're not so much a must, but highly recommended because once you get on I-90 coming across South Dakota, not only are exits stretched out far between, but so are service stations as well as repair shops. And it's all grassy fields, grassy plains. There's not really any shade once you get on 90 coming out of Sioux Falls. There is really no shaded area at all. Unless you happen to go stop at a gas station, get underneath an awning, go inside a building, something like that. Otherwise, if you're on the interstate, it's nothing but sun and grass. So as you can imagine, if your bike breaks down, you don't have any toolkits, or you've got you got a nail or something in your tire, you want to be able to try to fix that as quick as you can and try to get rolling. At the very least, try to get it to the next stop area where there's actually some place to actually get out of the sun and the heat. Because it does get hot. And if it's sunny and hot, that's going to be a miserable day. The other thing to watch out for while riding across 90 is the crosswinds. It does get extremely windy in sections on 90. My cousin died laughing about me being on a trike until we hit the crosswinds. He was getting blown from side to side quite a bit, while I was just getting pushed backwards every now and then. Because it was catching my trike and actually pushing me backwards some. Anybody got any questions? Ain't the one person watch. That one person's me. I think it's showing just me. But anyhow, hope everybody's having a great time. And I'm going to end this. And everyone have a great day. Rest of the day, evening. If you get to go out riding tomorrow, hope you all have fun. Have a safe ride. And I'll catch you all on the next live. Bye.